Talking Rasslin takes you to the top, oh yeah. Feel the energy, the thunder as the crowd begins to roar. High-flying daredevils in a battle like never before, oh yeah. From the turnbuckle to the mat, the action never stops. Talking Rasslin takes you to the top, oh yeah. Talking Rasslin, it's a wild ride from suplexes to body slams. We got it all inside, get ready for excitement, that's on the show. Talking Rasslin is ready to throw down, oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to Talking Rasslin. I'm Pondwater Dave. Joined with me as always is the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn.
Hello, hello.
And this week our very special guest is my oldest child.
Your favorite child is what
My
you meant.
firstborn, Sarah.
Same thing.
The host, one of the hosts of the Secret Society of Superfans.
That's right. You got it.
Well, I'm used to scripted.
Yeah. Well, so Wicked Unscripted has been an amazing ride, but we were really limited in what we could do and who we could have on the show. That's about all I can get into it. But so yeah, we're rebranding as the Secret Society of Superfans. It's just opening up more doors for us and who we can interview and interact with and what we can do.
I like it. I like it. I mean, the Wicked Unscripted, I knew that it played to your love of Wicked, but
well, a funny story. It actually started as Abigail's podcast. She's from Boston, so Wicked Unscripted. It had nothing to do with the musical. It was just coincidence that's like my obsession. But yeah, no, it's a Wicked,
Yeah,
like
Wicked
Boston
Pizza.
Wicked. Yeah, Wicked
I like
Pizza.
it.
Yeah, that's where that came from. But the Secret Society of Superfans is actually, so me and Sammy, Ghostbuster Sammy, Reality Allie, and Abigail, we're all in a group chat together. We all go live and do TikToks every night. And we just, all in Big Brother Survivor and everything. Well, we're in the group chat saying, like, if we were all in Big Brother together, what would our alliance name be?
Ooh.
And that's what we came up with, and we even came up with like what we would anyway. It got really geeky for a minute, but that's how we came up with the name for the show. So,
well, if you're catching our podcast for the first time, welcome. Reality television and pro wrestling are not that much different.
I think they're the same.
I mean,
in a lot of ways. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
I was recently in Dallas on my vacation, and Sarah invited me to go to the Big Brother season finale unofficial watch party hosted by Kat Dunn. Well, I don't know. I've never watched Big Brother. I didn't know anything about it. I'd heard, of course, there's breakout stars that but we go to this really nice movie house, an area of the colony. What's it called out there, Sarah?
Grandscape.
Grandscape. It's got like a Michael Andretti indoor racing. It's got a huge Ferris wheel. It's got restaurants and this badass movie theater you could go and place your order. It's got a bar. You place your order, they'll bring you your food into the theater. It's a really nice place. And we watched the final episode, and I got into it not knowing anything about anybody. But I told Sarah, I said, this is wrestling. It's all psychology. Everybody's working everybody trying to, it's basically the same concept. And
Have heels, you have baby faces. I agree. Alliances, like you said, I think it's very much the same in a lot of ways.
And I think the girl that came in second place, I think that she was too much of a baby face.
Yeah, I agree.
A baby face, and she ended up not winning because of it.
MJ did, and the show has a long history of the same mistake year after year, where someone is just so wrapped up in being a loyal teammate, a loyal player, that they take their biggest competition to the end because that's their bestie in the house. not taking the easy person to win. Like, you could definitely beat this person. If you have the choice, you're going to choose your bestie for optics over the easy win. And I'm sorry if I'm like $750,000 on the line. I'm not
Right, and how
taking
much
my
did she get
bestie.
for coming in second?
Huh?
How much did she get for coming in second?
25,000.
750.
They just recently.
750,000 versus 25,000.
Well, no, it's actually a little bit. It's more than that, but yeah, no, it's nowhere close.
Right, but I'm saying
Yeah,
now,
no,
how much can she monetize winning Big Brother? I mean, coming in second. I mean, coming in second, because sometimes coming in second place on a reality show, like you look at American Idol. How many American Idol people? It's 75K. Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas. Sorry, I got put on. Luke, 75K for
I
second
couldn't
place.
remember.
It did. So recently they upped the prize money. And we've had some kind of weird money winners lately. Like Taylor Hale was the first winner to also win America's Favorite Player. So she's the most winningness. Like, she won the most amount of money of any Big Brother player ever won. But
Wait,
there's
they
different.
can win. Are they winning money during the season too?
So there are certain challenges that you can win cash prizes on. We had a pre-juror win money that way. There's secret challenges that you can win money on. But overall, the big prizes are going to be first and second place. Third place gets something. I think third place actually might be the 25K. And then
I felt bad for third place.
I didn't.
That dude was so screwed. I mean, he had no chance.
Listen, Cam was very lucky to be there, and he knows he is. And then there's America's Favorite Player, and that is the player that America votes on. They vote for their favorite player. That this year was Tucker, and it's the first time in Big Brother history that someone who was voted out pre-jury, so basically very early in the show, has ever won America's Favorite Player.
Tell her, explain the concept of jury.
So in Big Brother, so little fun trivia, the first season of Big Brother in the US, because it started over, it's a Dutch show, but it was adapted here in the US. The first season, America voted for people to be kicked out every week. You voted for you voted for the house guests, and somebody was booted based on those live votes. It did not go over well because I don't know, it has a lot of problems and a lot of loopholes, a lot of things that we didn't really fully flesh out. And America is problematic. So second season, they then made it more of a social experiment for the inside, and having the house guests vote for each other. You get power, you nominate two people. The rest of the house then has to vote for one of those two people to be out. Well, in Danielle's season, we call Danielle's like the greatest Big Brother player to have never won. She was an incredible player, and she, at this point in the game, when you were voted out of the house, you went home. So you're watching everything on the screen. People went home and watched the episodes. They could see Danielle in the diary room sessions talking about these cutthroat moves she was making. It rubbed people the wrong way. And on finale night, when everyone's brought back to vote for the winner, she didn't get any votes because they were all pissed off at her. So now they've created a jury. At a certain point in the game, this year it was 7 jury members. When you get to that point, once you are evicted from the house, you go to the jury house where you are sequestered. You cannot see what's going on in the house. You cannot go home. You cannot watch the episodes. You only know from the information that's coming into you from other people that come out of the house. And so you collectively then have to make a decision on who you want to win. And a lot of that decision is based on how those people made you feel. It makes it more of a relationship game. It makes it more of a psychology game. So yeah, you have to kick these people out of the house, but you have to do it in a way that kind of flatters them and it doesn't piss them off and send them and make them be bitter. So there's a lot at stake. Yeah.
Well,
do you think for our audience, just to make sure, what exactly is the concept of Big Brother? Like, I know you said that it's a Dutch adaptation, but it's everybody living together. It's all videotaped, right?
Yes, we have live feeds. They say 24 hours, 24/7, but for the most part, there are live feeds going on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch these house guests within the house. They have 4 cameras, typically on 2 areas at any given time. And these people are living together. They do have competitions every week. Those competitions are designed to give someone the power to make decisions for the week, basically. And then there are competitions to save yourself, to give yourself safety to get through the week. The majority of the game, the heart and soul of the game, is to build relationships, build alliances, so that when people become empowered, they don't want you out of the house, that they aren't putting you on the block. So it's all about navigating those relationships with zero outside information. The only information you have is what you see and what you hear and who you trust. And these are all strangers to you. So you have no idea if someone's lying to you, or you have no way to fact check anybody. And there's no other experience in the whole world, not even prison, that can prepare you mentally for this kind of experiment. Because even in prison, you have contact with the outside world, your family, your loved ones.
Right. So you could get picked. How many do they usually? Is there a set number, like 21, or I don't know? How many people start off in the Big Brother house?
Typically 16.
16. So you could literally say you could get picked, and Dave could be like, he could go in there and say that he was an whatever, he was a champion MMA fighter or champion soccer player or anything. Like, he could not make, he could take what experiences he has, but he could really bolster it up and play the game. That's really interesting.
So you could be whoever you want in the Big Brother house. Yeah.
Right. Because there's no way for anybody to really know.
And they're sequestered. They told them during the finale, when this thing started, President Biden was still running for president. So they find out on the finale, no, he's not. He dropped out. And oh, by the way, somebody tried to kill President Trump.
Yep.
Twice. I mean, they hadn't heard any of that. So, I mean, they're completely sequestered
for 2 weeks before the show starts. So 2 weeks plus the 90 days they were there.
I mean, because you can imagine, it's like coming out of the what was that they put in? What was that dome, biodome that they put out there? I think it was in Arizona. Everybody was in there, secluded away from the world. I can't remember what they called it.
Is this a movie?
No, real life.
You thinking of that Pauly Shore movie? No,
I guess. I'm just like, I missed that. Apparently, I didn't realize we did that.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what it was called, but
so Big Brother is actually like world history here. There was a season of Big Brother going on during September 11th, and the Big Brother house is located right near an airport in LA, and the house guests were in the backyard. They were the only people in the entire world that didn't know what had happened. And there's actual footage of them sitting in the backyard saying, it's really weird. Haven't seen any planes today. Like, there haven't been any airplanes today. And it was the first time and one of the only times, there's only been 2 other times that they've ever told them anything from the outside world. And those were kind of off, like, special seasons too. But it was one of the only times that the house guests have ever been told in the BBUS about a major world event. They did sit them down. There was actually one of the players, there was only like 4 of them left, whose cousin worked in the World Trade Center. And they broke the news to her, asked if she wanted to speak to her family and leave the house. She decided she was going to stay and continue to play for them. We did find out later that her cousin did pass in the World Trade Center that day. But yeah, it's wild going back and chilling looking at that footage, because literally the entire world knew except for these 4 people that were trapped in the Big Brother house.
Wow.
What if they have something in the contract when you're signing up for it? Like, how do you decide what is worthy of I mean, did they have anything going on during COVID, or were they filming during COVID?
Yes, COVID. I think that there was a season of Big Brother Canada going on, I believe, where they did say that there's like been a pandemic and it has reached here in the States. COVID affected Big Brother dramatically for our next season. Like, well, it took a minute. They ended up doing an all-star season because those are shorter and they could sequester these people longer. But then it was a while. Like Julie, when you left the house, there was like they entered in the house one at a time. It was a whole thing. It changed actually a lot of little nuances about the show.
Mm-hmm.
But BB Canada was notified when COVID happened. BBUS was notified when Boston won the World Series. They did give them that little tidbit.
That's interesting, especially the part about the COVID, because in reality, the whole world's watching because we got nothing else to do. So you could see where you don't want to not, have something on television, but I can only imagine what you had to do to make things safe. At that time too, every day it's changing on what we're supposed to be doing. And were they being tested? I guess was that? I don't even know if you know that.
Yeah, they would have to have weekly tests, and it was the live feeds were a lot different that year because the staff, the crew that runs the show and runs the cameras was so limited. And then you have staff that had to come into the house to do the setup comps and everything. So there was a lot of sequestering within the house. And house guests that's the moment house guests started having to clean their own house before the live show night. Because typically there was they would go and get put up in the HOH room, like they had a household bedroom, while crew would come in and clean the house before a live show. But after COVID, they're like, here's a vacuum, you do it yourself.
Right. Hey, here's some Lysol.
Willie Buck's with us tonight in the chat. Hi, Willie. Sarah talks. Who is your favorite Big Brother actor?
Was not an actor, but my favorite Big Brother player ever would be Ian. He played in All Stars too, but Ian was just a very strategic, smart mind. He was very underestimated because he was a very small guy. But he was brilliant. He was brilliant, and he looked too sweet, nerdy, and innocent for anybody to be thinking about how much he was stabbing them in the back. And I loved every minute of it.
Well, let's flip that coin. Which one did you absolutely hate? Wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire?
God, there's been a few. There's been quite a bit. There's one that I mutually blocked. I blocked him. He blocked me. It's a whole thing. But that his name is Daniel. And he's awful. He's just Daniel. I call him Dunstan, but Durston. He is an Elvis impersonator who was gone very early in the show to all of our benefit, but is very loud on social media and very hateful and nasty, and just is trying way too hard to be a villain that nobody wants him to be.
All right. Well, fuck Daniel.
I said Daniel
and to roll it all into wrestling terms. Fuck Daniel, then, now, and forever.
I love that.
That's what WWE says. That's their opening. Then, now, forever. Actually, it's then, now, forever together.
See, admittedly, I grew up watching it with you. I know, from Stone Cold, The Rock, that's my era. The Undertaker. I remember Paul Bear very vividly. That was about it for me. And then, you and I worked together. That was more of a bonding experience for me than a love and passion of wrestling.
You were the nurse, right? Were you a nurse?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
and I just want everybody to notice that I wore the medics. I was going to say,
don't skim over that, Sarah. Tell us all about that. I remember. I remember hearing about it. Tell us more.
Yeah. I wanted to spend more time with my dad, and what a fun way to pretend to work out. He was talking about it like it was some fun workout. You go take Taekwondo or no, let's go to wrestling
she actually
school.
went to wrestling school. This wasn't just, hey, I called her up, said throw on a nurse's outfit.
No.
She actually went to wrestling school for a little while.
It's cool. The same way you did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Those ropes are not as stretchy as they look on TV, and the mats are not as fluffy as they look either. It was a lot of bruising, a lot of shoulder blade to shoulder blade bruising, and running ropes was, and doing rolls and flips was my version of hell. But I had a great time hanging out with my dad. No, we had a fun time with. I met some great people, and we did a few shows, and I'm not good at it.
You did okay. I mean, but
No,
you
it's
know,
terrible.
well, you the physicality, you had attitude, but the physicality you weren't sure about.
I loved being a. Oh, can we cuss on here? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I loved being a bitch. I loved being sassy and being just a total bitch and being a heel. Like I loved it. It was so fun because I was like in the customer service industry at the time, and I was just having to be so nice to everybody during the day.
Exactly.
So I just got to let it all out. I got these little packs of gum that said like have a pack of shut the hell up, and I put it in my nurse's costume. I loved that part of it. It was so fun. I'm not a great actress. I'm not. There's a lot of reality shows I would go on, but all of them I would go authentically as myself. And I mean, even playing The Circle or something where you could play as a catfish, but yeah, I'm just not a great actress. I'm not a good liar. I got in so much trouble growing up as a kid because I'm a terrible liar. So like,
did you wrestle? Were you a manager? Did you wrestle anybody? Yeah. Did you wrestle?
No.
Okay.
No, she got. I mean, Genesis.
I did have a show with. One time I did have to charge at Athena. That was terrifying.
Oh yeah, 100%. I could see where that'd be terrifying.
It was terrifying. I was there doing a gimmick. It's I don't even remember where the show was. Where I was like this super fan. It was very much channeling. Oh my God, what's her name? No, Nikki.
Mickey James. Mickey James.
Oh, yes. Very much giving Mickey James vibes. And so I would wear Palmer's T-shirt, and I was the Centerfold's biggest fan. Eventually, they would pull so I'd go all these shows in the audience, playing up the super fan. Then they had me join his entourage, and me and Josh would be spraying the air before he came out, and it was a whole thing. And then he had a match with Athena, and I didn't like it, and I had to charge her from the audience onto the ring, and it was terrifying, terrifying. And I was terrible at it. Like I know, well, but
I don't. Since you don't keep up with modern stuff, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and she's
I keep up with her.
The Ring of Honor. She calls herself the Ring of Honor Forever Women's Champion.
Speaking of her as the ROH champion, have you seen the little promos for her and Abaddon? They're going to have a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. I mean, like that looks like, I don't know what it would look like.
You'd like Abaddon because she's right out of a horror movie, Sarah.
Yeah. She's like a zombie, or I don't know what exactly she is. It's really cool.
Abaddon's been at Metroplex at MPX before they've got a past.
I think it's going to be a good match. Like I like that. I just like the visuals of it because Athena, she's got the werewolf kind of vibe and everything that she's wearing, and then Abaddon's got her zombie whatever she's doing. I think it's a cool little visual on the little vignette thing that they're sending out. So when you said that about ROH champion, I thought about that picture.
And while we're talking about,
I keep up with her stuff. Like I'm a fan of her. I'm a fan. Actually, her and Palmer, two of probably like the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. And as fun as it was to do the shows and everything, it putting up, like I was just terrible at it. But I like playing Call of Duty until 3 a.m. or going to all these haunted houses, just that time and hanging
they play
out
Dungeons and Dragons and
but
they are just
fun.
And when I think back and a couple times, maybe once or twice I've run into them since them just going to things with Dad. They just are some of the most beautiful people I've ever met inside and out.
Got you every time I talk to them.
They're just, I adore them, and I'm so proud of her and happy for her. And I might not know anything about wrestling. I just know that I am a fan of her and so proud, and I just feel that big sense of pride every time I see anything about her.
Well, speaking of wrestlers and reality, let's I'm going to bring this up.
Oh God.
There's been wrestlers that have done reality shows. This is Kenny King. And this is Kenny King as a wrestler. This picture was from when he was in Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
This is Kenny King on The Bachelor.
Oh.
Oh, he looks nice. What year was this?
Very nicely.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I can find out. He cleans up how did he do? Wait, is he was he the Bachelor or was he on Bachelorette as one of the Bachelors?
He was on Bachelorette. He was not the
okay.
Bachelor.
So she was the Bachelorette, this lady right here.
Yeah.
Do we know how he did?
They look cute together.
I didn't dig into that. You're the expert.
I don't watch Bachelor or Bachelorette.
I watched.
I don't. I watch Love
years,
Island.
For a few years, I watched Bachelor in Paradise because that's kind of messy. It's
what is that one? I don't watch
Bachelor in Paradise. Is they throw them on an island.
Is it that the one where they're just trying to get people to cheat on people?
In the resort. No, that's Temptation Island. That's a whole different can of worms. Okay. But Bachelor in Paradise, they just throw them in basically paradise, this beautiful resort down in Mexico. And they'll start out with so many men, so many women, and everybody's pairing up, and then somebody gets kicked off. But you can be happy, and you're rolling along with somebody, and then they'll throw somebody else in from a different season or something. And they'll come in and they'll be like a shit disturber and break them up. And it's just, I enjoyed Bachelor in Paradise.
Okay. Do they just do it once?
No, they did.
Oh.
That's normally between Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Okay. He was on the 13th season of The Bachelorette, which premiered in May of 2017, but he pulled himself out of the competition in 9th place because he was missing his daughter.
Oh. I thought you were going to say someone died. I didn't know what you were.
Well, he sounds like a nice guy, but Jim Cornette hates him. Jim Cornette absolutely hates him.
From Ring of Honor? Why did he not take?
Well, no, but they did a whole thing with Kenny King and somebody else, and they were going to put the titles on them, and then he bolted on them and screwed it all up.
Oh,
yeah. Cornette was going off on him at Parade of Champions in 2016, and we were in the locker room, and I think I showed you the picture before. And Shelton Benjamin was back there, and somebody picked up a cell phone, and Shelton Benjamin said, "Put that phone down," because we're in the locker room.
Yeah.
And Cornette goes, "No. Tape me. Record what I have to say, because I know one of you guys know that asshole, and y'all can send it to him."
You know what would be interesting is if he left the ROH to do this show, because it came out in 2017, but that doesn't mean they didn't record it earlier, because you said this was all 2016. That'd be interesting.
I want to say that she was from Dallas.
Lucas says that's Rachel Lindsay. Lucas, by the way, he's more of a reality expert than I am.
Awesome.
He actually just done like all of our artwork for our merch and everything. And like,
Lucas, hi Lucas.
We love Lucas.
Thank you, Lucas. And Willie Thornbrew's here too, and he was just reaffirming that it was 75,000 for second place. He also said to win, you had to be a little bit of a heel and a little bit of a baby face.
Absolutely.
Then we had.
I know him.
I do know him.
That's Mr. Spectacular.
That is Jesse, and he is one of the best Big Brother villains. He's currently on House of Villains, but yeah, he's one that we love to hate.
Now, Amy, was he on the OVW?
Yes, he is
on the OVW.
He's
series,
still on
wrestlers.
OVW. Yes, he's still on OVW. Mm-hmm. Probably not now if he's doing that with the villain, but yes, he was their heavyweight champion for a little bit. So
there's Mr. Spectacular, and then, Chris Jericho was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Stacy Keibler was on Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm. And Austin.
Oh, that's Luchasaurus, right?
Yeah. I did not know that he was on Big Brother.
Somebody told me that. I didn't know either.
I'd never seen him without his mask.
I know, he's so good looking. Why are you covered up, dude, with this mask?
Oh, man. He was in a showmance with one of the twins that season. There was a twin twist. And the twins had to, for the first few, like however many weeks of the house, had to swap out in the middle of the day with no one knowing that they were different people. So that they would have to come in the diary room, download information and stuff, and then swap back in.
Good
And
for
then if they
Luchasaurus.
and if he wasn't in a relationship with both of them, but then and then if they got to a certain point, which they did, without either one of them being evicted, then they get to both enter the house. And they both ended up entering the house. He was in a relationship with one of them, not both of them, but
and then I would argue that this could possibly be the most famous crossover wrestler reality show television star. You want to take a guess, Amy?
So it's not, you're not talking about Luchasaurus, you're talking about someone else.
The next one I'm going to show, the last one.
They are a reality, say that again?
Reality show star, pro wrestler, probably the greatest. Huh?
The Miz.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally believe that.
Mike Mizario.
I could hear Abigail screaming that in my head. She's a big
That's
fan.
what, look at him.
I know.
Baby.
I'd have to say that from coming from reality television to where he's at now, I mean, he's still prominently featured. He was prominently featured Monday night.
Exactly. Because he's a good personality. And that's another reason why he was successful on all the different shows that he's been on, is that he's a personality.
His name gets brought up, I would say, the most when we're talking about who we want to see on the next season of fill in the blank. Like for Traders, his name gets thrown out every year for the Traders. It gets thrown out every year for Celebrity Big Brother. Yeah, his name, everyone wants to see him on everything in my world.
Hey, let me ask you, so is Big Brother your absolute favorite of the reality shows?
No.
Which one's your favorite?
Traders. Traders by far.
What is Traders? Because I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? Are you guys familiar with the game Mafia?
No, sorry.
Okay, it's like a party game, and I'm sure you've played some version of it at some point in your life.
I haven't played anything called Mafia since MySpace was around.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I forgot all of that. Like, what a throwback!
I kept MySpace. I kept MySpace probably a good year after it died, just so I could play Mafia every day.
Oh my gosh! So it's a game where there's in the Traders, there are traders and the faithful, and they bring everyone into this round table situation, and people are anonymously named. Like you'll get a tap on the shoulder. You've been dubbed a traitor. And your job as a traitor is to survive without being sussed out as a traitor. And every night you give a name to someone to murder of someone in the house. You have to like basically banish someone. You're murdering someone from the house, and that person, they do not come down for breakfast. There are challenges involved. There's a lot of social games. And then the whole house meets at a round table every evening. And it's basically a trial of who they think the traitors are. And everyone has to come to agreement. There's a vote. Someone is accused of being a traitor, and that person stands up, says whether they were a traitor or faithful, but either way, they're voted out of the castle. It is so fun to watch. There's a lot of strategy involved. There's a lot of psychology involved, a lot of deception. It is just, it's brilliantly cast and edited every single year. Big Brother got me to love reality television, and Big Brother is how I found my people on social media and how I started making my living on TikTok, and found this community. But Big Brother burns me year after year after year. So, yeah. Oh, evil dick.
Is that a person's name?
That's
a person.
A very famous villain from Big Brother.
Ironically, that's what our good friend Timmy C calls his appendage.
I feel like there's something very similar to Traders that maybe was on AEW. I'm trying to, like, after AEW, like, I feel like I remember seeing something very similar. Like they had, I wish I could, I have to look.
Was it on TNT or TBS?
Maybe so. I feel like it was on after AEW, because I don't feel like it was USA, because I wouldn't usually make it to 10 o'clock. So to know what was going on afterwards. But it was something very similar, like different people would come in. They had, I'm going to have to look that up, but it seems very similar to what you're kind of talking about, where they're coming in and there's a persona and they're voted and you're what is it called? I'm sorry, I'm babbling.
Yeah, please let me know.
Because now I can't remember what it was called.
I still have a very I have a personal connection to Big Brother. I love it. But Traitors, I love Traitors. House of Villains is my favorite campiest show. I'm there for the camp. I'm there for the drama. I love Love Island and Survivor. Survivor is Big Brother with better cinematography and better casting and no camp. It's just, Survivor is a beautiful show.
I watched House of Villains with you, and I was out on it because
it's very camp.
Very, and I couldn't put up with the Real Housewife.
No, I can't watch that either.
I couldn't put up with the Real Housewife because she was annoying. And then you had the one that came in that was the woman that
Larsa
that wanted to. They were talking about kicking somebody out of one of the rooms, and
that was Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's ex, who was dating Michael Jordan's son.
Yes. Oh, okay.
And they both were on the Traitors last season together. They just brought her into House of Villains. I love Larsa. She is great for the drama. I cannot get into the Real Housewives show, but I keep up enough with the characters. Our
friend Allison Faye.
I love that. I keep up with enough with
Terry Weaver's here from the TNA Top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I love Vanderpump Rules. I tried watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for Lisa Vanderpump, and I still couldn't get into it. And I love Lisa Vanderpump, so I think I'll just stick to the spinoffs for now. Can't do the Housewives too much, though.
I was on a reality show once.
It was like Court TV.
No, that was me.
No, I was actually in the wrestling ring, trying out for a spot as a wrestler. Doing a tryout. There was a reality series called The Bussy Bunch. It was shown on.
I remember this.
I'm trying to remember what the channel was. It was like a.
I feel like I remember this too. Are you talking about it?
Yeah, I can't remember the channel it was on now, but they made it 2 whole episodes. And I was on one of the episodes for like 2 seconds. So
good for you.
But they were having an open tryout, and the wrestler that won the open tryout was going to get gear custom made by a guy named Bash. Actually, Spoiler 2000 son.
It was on TLC.
Oh, really?
Was it on TLC?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were going to be in the main event on PCW's main show, and we were all there. I mean, I'm working out, getting ready for wrestling school. I mean, I'm in there lifting my small weights. I'm doing my thing back in the gym, and they said, "Hey, you're gonna be in there for an open tryout. We're doing this for filming tonight." So, but then there was a Byron Wilcox, the angel of sin, comes walking in, and we all knew at that point that Byron was winning.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a whole thing, and it's just some of those reality shows like Duck Dynasty and stuff like that. There's a lot of that is staged, but interestingly enough, that show became very, very popular in Germany. And I have a friend that was a belt maker. He goes by Billy Loomis. He was a belt maker in Germany, and he watched the entire series.
I'm sorry, you have a belt maker named Billy Loomis, as in the killer from the Scream franchise, Billy Loomis.
Is that where he got the name?
Yeah. Well, Bill. Yes.
Yeah, I think his real name's Christian, but his screen name on Belt Talk was Billy Loomis.
And that makes sense.
Oh, Belt Talk.
Yeah, but anyway.
Sarah, have you ever wanted to be on a reality show? Have you tried to be have you applied or however that works? How far have you ever gotten?
Well, I mean, I've been on court TV, but I was on the Judge Mathis show, and that is very staged. Joe Schmo, what a throwback!
Joe Schmo was good. Joe Schmo was good. I like the reality shows that shit's only going to work once. Like the first season of Temptation Island was riveting.
You're talking about like there's Joe Millionaire too, and there's a whole documentary how problematic that show was.
Yeah.
But no, to answer your question, I applied for Big Brother for seasons 19, 20, and 21. 21 is really when my coverage on social media kind of blew up, and I got more in that zone, and I started talking more to like outgoing house guests, and then I realized very quickly there's no shot in hell I'll ever apply for the show ever again. I wouldn't go on Big Brother even if they like called me up and said we want you on, but I would do The Circle from Netflix. I would do the Traitors in a heartbeat, but I have to be famous first to go on Traitors. And I would do the Anonymous on Peacock, which is like if Circle and Traitors had a baby. You will never catch me on Survivor. Could it be me? But that's about it. And I'm happily married, and I've been with my husband for 18 years. So Love Island is out of the picture, but those are.
They got Golden Bachelor now.
Yeah, and it's actually a beautiful. I can't do the I can't like the 90-day fiance. I've tried. I can't do it.
Yeah,
but
I don't do.
Golden Bachelor. I hear that's a beautiful show.
Last year I was in Pensacola. I was hanging out with my friend Conrad. We were at the beach, and we were watching college football. And on ABC they showed a preview. I mean, they showed a preview of Golden Bachelor, and he just looks at me and he goes, "I'm so glad you're happily married. I can see you doing some stupid shit like that."
Well, hell, everybody wants you on Big Brother now. You did a couple lives with me and went to an event with me, and now everyone's wanting you on. Don't do it. Just for our family's sake, don't do it. But
I'm not in a position that I can take a month off work.
There's that too.
I don't like scare tactics.
They do. They just revamped it. They just rebooted it, and it's now new. Okay, so it's basically like it's a prank show where people get scared. But
they've been putting a lot of wrestlers on there lately.
Oh, really? Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think the New Day hosts it.
Oh,
the new one?
Yeah.
The reboot? I know that Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Oh, of Peele.
Yeah, they're related. They're in it, but they've been using wrestlers. Cody Rhodes. They set it up as a prank.
Yeah.
I don't like. I like that.
Does Hot Ones count as reality television? Or is that a game show?
Hot Ones. Oh my gosh. I strive to be that good of an interviewer. But I just don't have the time or capacity or the skill set to even think of the questions that he thinks of. But I love Hot Ones.
What is that? See, I don't really want. If I watch a reality show, it's going to be like some kind of like competition, like Chopped. I mean, I watch stuff like that. I don't watch the.
Do you watch baking championships? I love me a Halloween baking championship.
I do like those. Those are fun, but something that's just like one show is the competition.
How are you
like,
not
I don't
in the
know.
loop on Hot Ones? Because they're even branding things out. Hot Ones now. It's a show where
they're short little YouTube episodes.
They do like hot sauce. I mean, they'll dip something in, and then it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter.
Okay,
and they'll tell them what the Scoville units are, and
and
sometimes you'll get somebody like Harrison Ford. Didn't Harrison Ford start cussing the guy out?
Ooh.
No,
Because
you're thinking
hot or
no, that was oh my gosh, why can't I think of names?
It wasn't
today?
Harrison Ford. It was somebody got mad and started. I mean,
no, the hot guy from Thor, and not Chris Hemsworth. Idris Elba. Idris Elba lost his shit.
Okay, too hot. I give you like the food.
It was funny, like in a funny
Sarah
way,
bought the whole box. She bought the box set, and they were doing Hot Ones at her house. They do shit like that.
See, I don't like hot. I don't like wings, or hot stuff. So I guess I'm
Oh,
not.
I'm here for the spice.
Yeah.
I thought me and my dad were on the same level with spice, but I learned that's not true during his trip here to
You
Texas.
screwed me on that.
Listen, you are where I got
I said the most ugliest
you
thing in the
did.
world
You
to
said
her.
a really nasty thing to me afterward. We were testing out some hot honeys at the fair, and I tried one. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is good." It was like it was up from Mike's hot honey, which I put Mike's hot honey on everything. And so I told Dad, I was like, "Here, try this." I think his literal eyeballs like popped out like that guy from Ripley's Believe It or Not. Like it came out his socket.
Woo!
And he looked at me like he was about to lunge and choke me out. Like
That's
he's
hot.
never looked at me that way.
I mean, it burnt so bad. And I mean, and it was the honey. You know how honey goes down slow?
Yeah. Oh,
so it burnt slow all the way down. I was
no.
madder than hell. Oh, goodness. I mean, and I thought, and normally
he was so mad.
But you took it okay though, right, Sarah?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine. Yeah.
So did you think she was being mean to you, Dave, or you thought?
No. Oh, I think she screwed me good on that one. Has anybody heard a health update on Luchasaurus? Not lately. Just
I haven't seen anything.
That he's going to be in the hospital for a while.
Why? Now,
but
where have I been? What's going on with him?
Oh, it's pneumonia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I thought it was COVID at first, but then it wasn't.
Yeah, he's been in the hospital for a while.
Oh, okay.
Like there's some question. There's possibility he won't ever be back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Bless his heart.
You mentioned Survivor.
For real, I'm not like one of those Southern people that say "bless your heart" mean things.
No. I mean, we don't.
I'm telling Sarah because I want her to know. I'm not. I
didn't mean it in a cunty way. I meant it for real.
Exactly.
It's so funny that was the word you used because
I have been called that before.
She has.
Same. So we're good.
Her and her co-host.
I take it as a compliment, girl.
Her and her co-host Megan Nelson, who just hosted over on Ad Free Shows. What are y'all calling that? Because I've called it "See You Next Tuesday" so much now I can't remember what y'all.
Yeah, no, exactly. Your dad is the one who he wasn't the first that called us that. No.
Well, they both got called. They both got called that. So then they said we need a name for their show, and I said, "See you next Tuesday."
I would think. I mean, I'm just saying this. I think me and Megan were probably the least cunty of all the.
Oh yeah, they're not even close.
So it's like, wow. We are hosting a show. It's called Ladies' Night at the Matches. And we actually were able to, our first interview was with Missy Hyatt, who is legendary in the wrestling realm world of WCCW. She was at Mid-South. She did Hot Stuff, not Productions. What were they called? International. Thank you. She's still very much at WCW. She is still very much on like the circuit, convention circuit and stuff. So we got to interview her. We've got another Allison Pay. We get to
Sarah in 1985. I would have risked it all.
Oh yes, for Missy Hyatt.
Oh yeah. I finally got my picture taken with her a couple years ago, but I had the opportunity, like the weekend of my 50th birthday. She was at WrestleCon, and I'm so starstruck I wouldn't walk up to her. And I haven't been that way about very many people in my life.
She was a great interview because we did talk about wrestling, but like she is huge into war reenactments, like Civil War reenactments and the World War II reenactments.
Yeah.
She actually just got back, or she just did one of World War II. She does those more reenactments. She's a German nurse. That's like her
leave the memories alone, Andrew.
So it's a series that we're doing now on Ad Free Shows to highlight women and their role in wrestling and what it was and what it's, basically they're pioneers and things that they did that just kind of help put, sorry, what Tim said.
It was a fun time, back-to-back champions.
Oh Lord, you are terrible. So we have
That
another
sounds
interview.
amazing.
It really is wonderful because again, that these women, they were just before their time. They didn't get their due. And Missy Hyatt was one of the
And
first
let's
people to
face it,
have.
had to put up with a whole lot more shit than the men did,
Oh my God.
like on so many levels.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
unreal. If you really think about it, it's just
Mhm.
really crazy. But we have another guest coming up. We're getting ready to do our next episode, and I am beyond excited about it. I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to say who
Ah,
it is, but I'm telling you, this is a person that I
Well, when y'all do part
really,
two with
really,
Missy, you need to name drop your co-host as being a huge fan.
I will. Well, and we will do a second one with Missy. It's just
I
there's, I
tried to
know
get her
there's a
on
lot
here,
to
but
talk about.
I'd be like,
She's really nice. She's really easy to talk to, and she's fun to talk to because you don't have to pull in. Like I'm
yeah.
sure if you've
she's done a lot
interviewed
of shit, and
people,
she ain't ashamed of none of it.
and as she should not be. You know what I'm saying?
She's
Why should she?
unapologetic. I
Yeah,
mean,
Love it.
yeah. And I think it's like I said, Sarah, you've probably interviewed people that are really kind of hard, or maybe they're not used to being interviewed. And no, she was just. It was like me and her and Megan. We're just all sitting there talking, and
felt
that's the
like a fly
way.
on the wall. What the three of them
Yeah.
having a conversation. Y'all did a really good job,
Yeah.
and they left plenty of
Thank
meat on the
you.
bone to do a part two. So
And that's how we definitely want to do our episode. So I'm super excited. Our plan is to interview as many, as the months go on, interview those women that maybe you haven't heard about or even talked about in a long time, but learn the history and what they,
well,
what we owe
Yeah.
them in a sense, for the
Megan's got a
wrestling.
friend, and I worked with her this past weekend. Her name's
Oh
Ray
yes,
Lynn.
yes, yes.
On Women of Wrestling, she was Chantilly Cella.
Did she beat Did she beat Cassandra?
No,
I didn't think so.
Cassandra retained, but it was funny because I told her backstage, I said, "Hey, we have a mutual friend." And she said,
Mhm.
"Who's that?" And I said, "Megan Nelson." And she said, "Yeah, in fact, I just talked to Megan yesterday." Said, "How do you know her?" And I said, "Ad free shows." She goes,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're that Dave," which made but then she goes, "My boyfriend does a show on ad free shows with Conrad."
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, who's your boyfriend?" She said, "Sam Adonis." And I'm like, "What a small world."
Exactly.
I told you like the eras that I would watch wrestling with my dad, but there aren't. I can't really pick out very many things that stood out to me as a kid, except for some of the women that I watched. Of course, a lot of jokes were made all the time about the women's matches being the bathroom breaks and the
Mhm.
all that
Mhm.
shit, but not for me. I loved them, and I will never forget like how Trish Stratus watching her like made me feel. And then
Yeah, me
actually
too.
I will say Mickey Mickey James is probably the first time I ever felt like a passion about a gimmick. Like
Mhm.
and that side like her gimmick and just her watching her slowly obsessively transform. I thought it was the most brilliant, unique thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I became fully obsessed with her, just as obsessed with her as she was with Trish.
Oh,
I
she
just
went as
remember
for
like
Halloween one year
I,
and
I dressed as her for Halloween, and we
with
had
the
to put the
belt and
belt
everything.
and the
Yeah.
boots with the
Awesome.
fur.
I
And
bought
yeah,
her a women's belt.
I
That sounds
loved
cool.
her. But I do remember like and then fast forward to I'm doing a couple of these shows with my dad, and I just I mean it's a percentage. These are like little podunk shows out in the middle of nowhere, but just seeing and experiencing some of the things that I had experienced backstage
Well, hey,
and
now
Mhm.
the one we did in Garland at the elementary school, that was a good show.
no, I'm not saying
That
that.
was a good crowd. Now
It was a great crowd.
I know we did that one out there that I think there was 12 people, but
No, this has nothing to do with the crowds. This is the
oh,
backstage stuff. This is the locker room talk. This is the how women are spoken to or treated. And it's very subtle. It's not very outright. It's very hard for even the men to see what's going on. But like as a woman, and even growing up and like reflecting on something, I was like, oh, that was really not appropriate. Or that was,
Mhm.
and some of the stuff that goes on back there. And then you could just think these women have made this their career, and it's like amplified so much more. There's major bucks and money at stake and their careers at stake for this stuff. So
oh yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not saying that it's all the way gone, but the way it was when you were part of it, and the way it is now, we don't do that anymore.
Right.
I mean,
no, and I'm just saying that what like the Trish Stratus, Mickey James, and the women before them have had to like. I would
yeah,
your
you're not
show
going to see.
sounds incredible. I would love to hear.
There's no more bra and panties matches. That's not going to happen anymore. There's no more mud matches. There's no more.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Well,
and actually, the women are what I'd like to say they're on top of the card and normally producing the best matches.
I was going to say a lot of them have the better storylines. You would probably really like Sarah, like a Sherry Martell, Sensational Sherry. Have you ever heard of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
my podcast partner Abigail is a huge wrestling fan, so like
okay,
we chat a little bit. She talks to me just because of my dad. She thinks that, so I listen.
Well, yes, I mean, like
eventually one of her friends thought I was cool.
Eventually. And again, it's because of wrestling. That's awesome, right? Wrestling makes the world go round.
Well, Sarah had an idea.
Okay.
Sarah had an idea that we'd play a little game.
Oh, I like games.
And we're gonna look at we're gonna guess if these reality stars were on Big Brother, Survivor, and whether we think they're a hero or a villain. But then Sarah's going to look at some wrestlers, and we're going to find out what she thinks about. And I picked wrestlers that she has no way of knowing who they are.
Right.
Okay.
The reason we're doing this is because every year this is kind of one of the things. This is what we do. This is probably our biggest show of the year. And before when they announce new cast before the show starts for Survivor or Big Brother, we are given their photo, their name, their occupation, and maybe like a little blurb, and we have to like draft them and make determinations by looks and stuff. Like, I think this person's going to be this. I think this person's going to be this. And so we make these predictions in our drafts. And I mean, I'm pretty good at it. So I don't know if it translates well to wrestling, but I want to find out. And then on the same, I'd like to see if you guys and how you guys fared up to this.
Ooh, this sounds fun.
All right, well, let's look at the first one.
All right, first up, this is Dan Giesling. He is 24, and this is all at their time at entering into whatever show that they went into.
He's only 24?
He was, 24, and a Catholic
24.
A Catholic high school teacher. First of all, do you think that he was on Big Brother or Survivor?
Survivor, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Survivor.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was on Big Brother.
Oh.
Okay. And is he giving you hero or villain vibes?
Villain.
Well, we kind of quit saying the same thing, Dave. So I'm going to go babyface. Well, a good guy, because Dave said villain. But I will say the first thing I did when I looked at his picture, I thought asshole. And then I see, oh, he's a Catholic school teacher. Oh, that was nice. I think he's a good guy.
Dan Giesling is one of the greatest Big Brother players of all times. He was most definitely a villain. He was one of the most conniving people to ever enter in the house, and the lies that he told. And he is known for one of his gimmicks, which was Dan's funeral. And it was this huge performance that he put in front of the show, in front of the whole house, about like making amends. He was saying his goodbyes. Y'all are going to vote me out. It ended up saving him. And it put suspicions on other people. He went on to win the game.
And you know why this can happen is because as Catholics, we can go to confession and, it's all.
Wipes that shit out.
So, I mean, I should have thought about that. He's a very smart man. Yeah, exactly. I have my candles for Dave.
I got 3 of them. My co-host gives me candles.
Yeah. I have several here that I like for
And then she'll call me an asshole. And then she goes to confession and gets it all wiped away. I'm still hurt. I'm still butthurt about it, but
I don't really confess that because I don't really think that was wrong. So, I'm just letting you know. I've never confessed the fact that I called you an asshole because you deserve that.
I did not. You were wrong, and you didn't even apologize. All right.
All right. Up next, we have Parvati Shallow at 23, and she was a boxer. Do we think she was on Survivor or Big Brother?
My first instinct was Survivor.
As a boxer, yeah. Man, they don't look that young.
These pictures are innocuous pictures. A lot of the cast photos will show the background of what show they were on. So I don't know if this is what this person looked like their first stint at their show.
I gotcha.
I'm going to say that she was Survivor, and I'm going to say she's a hero.
I think she's a hero too.
Parvati Shallow was on Survivor. You were correct there. One of the greatest Survivor villains of all time.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
She also went on.
Yeah. What made her one of the greatest villains? What'd she do?
Well, she had great social relationships. She just had so many that she knew who to stab in the back and who to plot against and smile in their face so they never knew it was her the whole time. She also went on to play the traitors, and she was picked to play as a traitor. Her and Sandra, who is another Survivor icon, had like a very famous rivalry. They ended up going and being both cast on the traitors together, but she's a very, very popular a very, very popular reality star from this world. But she did play, I believe, at least two, maybe three, but I think at least 2 seasons of Survivor.
I should have got her as a villain because, and that, I think back to what I was told when I was a little kid: an angel in truth, a demon in a demon in truth, an angel in fiction. A woman's the greatest of all contradiction. She'll take you for better, she'll take you for worse. She'll split your head open and then be your nurse. I was fooled. Desi Williams, 27-year-old physical therapist.
She looks like she's a survivor and a hero. That's what I'm going with. Survivor.
I'm going Big Brother hero.
Amy's got you. She was a Survivor hero. One of the most loved players of Survivor ever. The whole island loved her.
Awesome.
She played 2 seasons and then is now a challenge icon. She went on to play in the Challenge USA seasons 1 and 2, and she lost in a very dramatic way in season 1, came back for redemption, and won season 2 of the Challenge USA. She is a beast and one of my reality heroes. Oh. I absolutely adore her.
Well, awesome. I don't know if I love her, but she looks like somebody I could love.
She probably the most stunning person to ever stepped foot on any of the Survivor Islands.
And finally, Frank.
Oh, he's a villain. He looks weaselly.
He's a 28-year-old drug dealer.
Big Brother villain.
Yeah, that's a Big Brother villain right there. Carrot Top Jones. Don't know about Carrot Top.
Does he look any kind of familiar to either of you at all?
Kinda.
No, he doesn't look familiar.
I'm gonna say yes, you were correct. He was on Big Brother, but he is both classified as a hero and a villain because the Big Brother production company. If you just watched the televised episodes of the show, you would see him as a hero and a very lovable guy. If you watch the live feeds, he was atrocious and very, very problematic.
He turns it on for the camera.
He doesn't have to. The cameras are always going. It's production that decides we don't want people to see this side of him. So
I got you.
Yeah.
Who's he related to?
Sid Vicious. This is his son.
Oh, we did talk about how he was on Big Brother.
I heard that, and so I was like, I'm going to throw him for a loop here. But this is Sid Vicious's son.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
Frank
he does
Edie.
look like
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. Yes. Interesting.
I just wanted to throw you off.
Well, his dad was a heel too. But now I get it with the hair. Yeah.
Yep, he actually was on 2 seasons. So he had his first season, and then he was brought back for like a mentor season where they would bring back some returnees to and they had teams of newbies.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lot more problematic on that season than his first season.
Interesting. Who knew? Is it worth okay? Because like you said, when you go on to a show like that, does it seem better to be more amped and more of a villain on these type shows? Do they get better reactions and get more
It depends on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on who you ask. One of the questions that was a standard preseason question, they don't ask this anymore, which I feel like you should bring it back. But a question they always asked every preseason interview of the cast was, would you rather lose and be loved or win and be hated?
Mm-hmm.
And those answers are really, really telling for a lot of people. I personally don't take, unless you go in and you are being problematic, homophobic, racist, misogynistic, if you're just making backstabby, lying kind of moves to win the game and that makes sense for your game, I am cheering for you from the stands, all the way. Production has a hard time finding that edit to what we call the casual fans, the fans that only watch the produced episodes, in a way where the casuals don't riot, oh, he's such a meanie and rah, 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 and they,
right.
See, I worry too much about what people think about me. I don't know that I'd do good on there.
I tell my listeners all the time because one of my number one, I get every live, Sarah, would you ever go on Big Brother? I was like, y'all don't fucking want me there. Y'all would be so mad at me all the time. I mean, Abigail and I talk about we would take each other to final 3, maybe final 4, but I'm cutting her ass if I get the chance.
Right.
No, you would do that? You would do that to Abigail? Because they're they see us as, sisters. And I'm like, yeah, and I'd be pissed if she didn't do the same thing to me.
Right. Right.
Just casuals would hate me because I'm there to win $750,000. I'm not there playing big friendship.
Right. Right.
But that's me. Casual, they want MJ, who came in second this season, who, took her best friend who she stuck with to the very end, knowing her best friend was probably going to beat her. And she did by a landslide, by unanimous vote. I was more admiring Chelsea's game, who was friends with everyone. Literally everyone in the house loved her and listened to her and did what she wanted them to do. So it didn't really matter who she took to the end because she had it in the bag the whole time. So
well,
I mean, that's...
old girl screwed up because she should have kept the dude and got rid of the one that was going to win. Because everybody knew. But I don't know that she could have beat the dude because it seemed like most of the judges didn't like her anyway.
She could have beat Cam. Cam won one competition the whole season.
Yeah, he was a D1 athlete, and he was losing.
He just flopped.
Anything that was strength related, he was flopping.
And he was a part of a lot of conversations. He had a good reads on the house. I had high hopes for him that he would pull it out towards the end, but I think he just got so in his head. And he said, I can't remember the name, but gymnasts use it all the time, where they get 2 in their head and they kind of freeze up. I can't remember the word he used, but anyway, I think that's what happened. Is he lost just so much, he got so in his head about it he couldn't. He
wasn't unlikable.
No, he's very lovable. I thought
he was likable. Hey, before we get to we're going to show you 4 wrestlers and get your take.
Okay.
Before we do that, I want to talk about Big Time Belts.
Yes.
Big Time Belts over on Facebook.com. Muhammad Zubair is making your belt dreams come true. The man's a genius. He can take your concept and he can make it into art and then make it into metal and leather, and you'll be happier than a dead pig in the sun. I'm telling you, the man is incredible at what he does. The man, that picture was a lot bigger when I downloaded it. I can't see the initials on it, but their women's champion is from Big Time Belts. I can't see the letters on it. Oh, the SWA Tag Team Wrestling Champions went to Big Time Belts. Look at those.
I like those.
Those colors
are beautiful.
Those colors are popping.
Mm-hmm.
there's Sam Houston with his belts. He got a replica of his Mid-Atlantic Championship belt that he had back in the Crockett era. He had a custom belt made also from Big Time Belts, him and his former tag team partner. The Flying V Fighting Champion had their championship crafted by Big Time Belts. Our friend Tim Robinson, AMW. You know Tim. You probably remember Tim, Sarah. You'd know him if you saw him. Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
AMW. He didn't have belts when we were going to Paris and Sulphur Springs, but he was renting belts from me. But all these years later, thanks to Big Time Belts, he's making all these belts. If he ever runs another show again, he's got superior belts to actually some promotions that are on television. I truly believe that. Would you look at there? Would you look at there?
Ooh, nice.
Big Time Belts is the official sponsor of the Ram Network's Fantasy Football League, which is currently being led by TJ Stevens and my wife, the lovely Teppy. They're both tied for first place. Tim pointed out earlier that all that does is get you seated better for the playoffs. Your record don't matter once the playoff starts, just a better seating. I'm pulling for my wife to win this belt because I don't want to put it in the mail and send it off.
I like that. It's so nice.
That's really cool.
Looks really good.
I mean, it really does.
Ooh. Go ahead and put it on. You know you have.
I haven't. She just handed it to me. That's what I got up. It just got here. It's got the TNA top. The TNA top 10.
That's super nice.
Talking Rasslin with Pondwater Dave.
Yeah, there we are.
The Ram Network Fantasy Football Champion. We got the Filter Free Popcast. And finally, I'm getting caught up in my wires, y'all.
Uh-oh.
And then the Big Time Belts logo.
How much does it weigh? It looks huge.
Weighs about 10 pounds.
Awesome. Looks good over your shoulder like that.
It's a nice belt. It's based on the Winged Eagle, the original blue leathered version.
Very much like
that was presented to Stone Cold Steve Austin when he became champion. That was the I mean, look at that leather.
I like that blue too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm hoping that my lovely wife can beat everybody else, and we don't have to put this in the mail, and she can strut ass around the house with her championship belt made by Big Time Belts. Big Time Belts, Facebook.com. Go join the group. If you can dream it, we can make it. And we want to thank him for sponsoring not only our show, but our fantasy football league. Big Time Belts.
Did you say that her and TJ are tied?
They are tied for first place.
Now, because I'm not part of the fantasy league, because I don't know how all that works. I just cheer from the sideline. Yay! How many more games? Is it almost over? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm so close to the bottom. And I mean, I thought about tanking to her this week because I played Stephanie this week, and I thought about tanking, and she kicked my ass by so many points.
You're playing like NFL fantasy football, right?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So if you think about it, like Super Bowl is in like January, February.
Oh,
so we still have like Thanksgiving games then through the holiday.
Yeah, but you finish before the play. You don't use the playoffs though. You have to wrap it up. You have to wrap it up by the end of the league. So whatever your I mean, she scored like 176 points. But anyway.
I'm in now second place in my league for work. But it's very much thanks to my Discord because yay sports and all. But my company decided to do it, and I have a bunch of football fans in my Discord. So we made a war room, and they just told me what to do, and it's working.
Well,
Awesome.
I'm doing
Good
great.
job.
your company needs a championship belt from Big Time
They
Belts.
do.
Yes,
Yeah, I will
yes.
pitch that.
I mean, that's a cool prize to play for.
Beautiful.
And then
Yeah.
next year she defends it because she's
Mhm.
going to win. Sorry, TJ, just how it is. But what I'm saying is that next year they'll defend it. It'll be cool. Unless I can talk Muhammad Zubair into giving us another belt for next year. All
like
right.
the trophy belt.
It's your turn to play this wrestling game.
All right. Oh, goodness. Well, he doesn't look very baby facey. So
His name is Braun Breaker.
I'm trying to watch my jokes. I'm on my dad's show.
Yeah, please don't.
What is she having to pick, Dave? What are her choices? What is she doing?
Is he a heel or a baby?
He's a heel. He's definitely a heel.
What's his gimmick?
He's giving, like, maybe not the chattiest, maybe just like a more of a grunter, a growler. Am I way off here? Because I feel like.
Do you remember the Steiner brothers?
Like, I feel like he would have, like, in a tag team, he would, like, there's going to be a short mouthy one, and he's like the big muscle. Like, those are the vibes he gives.
He's destroying. He crushes people left and right. Do you remember the Steiner brothers?
No.
What about Big Papa Pump? He wore the chainmail on his head. Yeah. My freaks and my peaks. Big Papa Pump is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
Don't remember any of that, but I remember the chainmail. Yes.
That's his son.
Oh, okay.
No, that's
his nephew. That's his nephew.
Rick Steiner.
That's Scott Steiner's. I mean, that's Rick Steiner's son. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Scott Steiner's son is badass too, and he's playing college football right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so how far off am I?
You're right. He's a heel.
Oh, okay.
He's a heel, and he's destroying. I mean, he bodies them left and right. He's high impact.
It's giving like final villain, but minions, like the guy who you have to beat to get to the big boss. Like that's who he gives. You know.
He's kind of like Goldberg, except he can wrestle.
And he's hot.
And I don't mean I'm not shitting on Goldberg when I say that. I'm saying that Steiner has matches, but he's very high impact, like Goldberg.
He definitely is a current version, I think, of the Steiner brothers when they wrestled, and the aptitude that they brought to the ring. I mean, obviously they were collegiate wrestlers, which he was too, but that hard hitting stiffness, no holds barred.
We don't know why they don't call him Steiner, because everybody knows that he's a Steiner.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
he's a 2-time Intercontinental champion. He just recently won the Intercontinental Championship back.
He's got quite the scowl.
Yes.
Oh, he's cute. What's his name?
This is Darby Allin.
You hate him, I'm sure.
I do.
Okay.
You hate him? I didn't know you hated him.
I don't care for him. I mean, he's a glorified stunt man.
Yeah, I. I can't. I'm gonna say heel, but probably not a very good one. Like, he probably has a lot of really, really young fans. Like, the kids probably really like him. He's a cute little thing, though. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to be nice. I don't know who y'all know. I don't know, but I don't. Well, I mean,
he is very beloved.
Okay.
I'd say that it might be fair to say he's the number one babyface in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay.
But
I don't get it either.
He's very scrappy, and he's always taking on like he doesn't let people push him around. So he is taking on the bigger, the meaner, like he stands
up. It's a very David and Goliath moment.
Yes. And he's
Yeah.
standing up for
And
the
with my David, about the size of your daddy.
Okay.
That's why I don't like him, because
Okay,
it's never believable to me. He doesn't.
But he doesn't like body slam people. I mean, like he does a lot of stunts, like he's jumping off onto tables, and I mean, all that kind of stuff. That's why your dad calls
Like
him a glorified
Mysterio, like
stuntman.
level gymnast kind of stuff.
Oh no, he'll run as fast as he can and just dive out of the ring.
Yeah,
Oh.
And then they'll move, and he'll eat the guard. I'm gonna tell you, my problem with him is I don't want to see him crippled, and that's
agreed.
He doesn't wrestle. I say he's a glorified stuntman. My dislike for him is because I am so concerned with his well-being. He does a move called a coffin drop where he just falls backwards. Well, he had a coffin match with somebody.
Into the heel.
Yeah, but he had a coffin match with somebody, and he won. And they're in the coffin, and he gets up on the top rope. I mean, and then he falls on top of the coffin. Why?
First of all, nobody should be doing coffin matches except for the Undertaker. That's kind of his thing.
He's
kind of
like
offensive.
The anti-hero. But the idea that this guy could become their champion, the heavyweight champion, and AEW really didn't call it the heavyweight champion. So I guess, but what I'm saying is for me being old school, I don't buy it, but I'm uncomfortable watching him because he's going to hurt himself. He does unnecessary stuff, but he is the biggest babyface in the company. They call him one of the pillars of AEW.
Yeah.
That's just interesting. The body paint and the tattoos and the goth pants were definitely giving heel.
Oh, he rides a skateboard, and then he'll super glue tacks to the skateboard, and I mean he does all that stuff. It's really a hard.
I don't like that kind of stuff.
But
he definitely, like you said, has that David and Goliath. Like he definitely does not back down from a challenge. He stands up for people. I mean, that's the endearing part of him.
Wrestling's a 3-ring circus,
and
you have the lion tamer and the
trapeze artist,
the trapeze, and the clowns. But there's something that for everybody, but not everybody's going to like every act. This act is not for me.
He's giving Billy Idol. That's who he reminds me of.
So I mean, that's just. I know that. I know I'm shitting on him, but I'm explaining why. It's because he's not for me. Him becoming heavyweight champion is not believable to me.
With the right story, I can believe it.
And I don't
overcoming, but I understand what you're saying, Dave.
And if he wrestled,
I didn't mean to say you hate him. It was just that was the first.
Well, yeah, he's not for me.
Came to my mind when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Dad doesn't like."
I try not to be so negative because I'm just saying that if he would wrestle every now and then and like have regular wrestling matches and then whip out this hardcore stuff occasionally, but to me, in my mind, my perception, and I could be totally wrong, is that he does all this stuff. He does all this stuff to cover up the fact that he can't work.
I think AEW also allows, like, they're not as.
Yeah, does your 17-year-old still like Penelope Ford, Allison?
Oh, she came back too. How do you like that, Allison? Has he seen that?
And now, how about this guy?
What's his name? Wait, don't tell me. I'm sorry, because he's giving thick accent. What's his name?
Gunther.
What?
Gunther.
Definitely thick accent. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think he would be like stereotypical foreign heel.
Love it.
Am I right?
You are.
Yeah. I didn't want you to tell me his name because I saw him and I was like accent, and I knew he was gonna have like an Ivan or a Gunther kind of name. Like it just.
Any idea how much weight he lost?
I would say 50, 75 pounds.
He used to be much larger, but he was Walter in NXT, and then they brought him up and they made him the ring general Gunther. His stable is Imperium. with Ludwig Kaiser, and I think they kicked the other guy out.
They did.
But where do you think he's at on the card, babe?
I think he. I mean, he's pretty popular. I feel like he'd be pretty popular.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think they're putting him on the card, though? Is he like in the middle of the show? Is he opening the show? Is he the main event?
I think I'm going to say not the main event, but maybe like the one before.
Gunther's currently the world heavyweight champion.
Oh, okay.
He's the longest reigning intercontinental champion.
Wow.
666 days?
Mm-hmm. We don't like that number.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason I remember it.
Well, that really lines up to how I typically do in the draft, because I always pick I always get people that are almost to the end and then never quite make it. So.
He's extremely hard hitting, violent matches. He's incredible.
Very much gives the Russian opponent of Rocky. What's his
Ivan Drago.
Drago, that's his last name. So he gives a very much, like you said, hard hitting. If he dies, he dies. He kind of gives that vibe.
This Sunday in Saudi Arabia, he will be wrestling Cody Rhodes, who is the Universal Champion, undisputed WWE Universal Champion. They made a belt for Crown Jewel. It's a beautiful belt, and the two champions are going to wrestle to see who's the Crown Jewel champion. It really don't mean much, except that Saudi Arabia pays them between $50 to $80 million to come over there and do a show.
A show.
So they're, so they have a Crown Jewel champion. And finally,
he is fine.
You okay there, Amy? Need a cigarette?
Yeah, I need a minute. Hold on. I didn't know you were going to show that picture.
I'm guessing he's a heel, and I'm guessing that this is the one and the only. Is this who your fan club is for, Amy? Is this your?
Oh, girl, what I wish this was Arn Anderson.
Oh, okay.
He's not Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson was in the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, he's a heel. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted. He's very good looking.
Yeah, girl.
He's a heel. I mean, face. I'm sorry, he's a baby face, and he has a great face. That's about. I don't know about his gimmick.
His name is Karrion Kross.
Okay.
He is not a heel. I mean, he is a heel.
Oh, he is? Okay.
He's accompanied to the ring by his wife, Scarlett Bordeaux.
Damn it.
Yeah, no.
Who is really Roll Tide. As Roll Tide as Roll Tide gets. He has a stable. What do they call him?
He has a what?
He has a stable.
Oh, I forgot. It's
he's in a group.
It's a weird name. I don't like it.
What is his name again?
Karrion Kross.
Let me look it up for you.
That even sounds
kind of a psychological thriller type faction.
Okay, so my attraction is making all sorts of sense now. Okay.
Oh, he's definitely a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
I think he told the Miz, you need to find me Bo Dallas's contact information. And Miz said, I don't know how to, and he goes, well, Miz, if you don't, I'm gonna break your legs.
The final testament. The
final testament, yeah.
So what do you mean by cycle? I'm intrigued here because I mean it really checks out. I love a man that's going to send me to therapy.
Like you take the New Day. You have Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, and he starts getting in Xavier's head that you're being held down, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and I mean just playing mind games. Very good at it.
Okay.
And he's slowly causing a rift between Kofi and Xavier. But when you think about everything he's saying, you can find the truth in it. It's a pretty deep character. It's a pretty deep character. They're trying.
I love that. I think
Scarlet is
Okay.
on my. Allison says Scarlet is on my dad's list. Gross. Scarlet is over with dads and peepaws.
I will say this, that like from what I watched growing up, you know, and I'm sure Dad's told you or has talked about like I loved Crybaby, and you know,
Yes,
and the
yes.
Crybaby story. But I loved the camp, and I loved the gimmicks. I loved Undertaker and Paul Bearer, and I loved all these crazy. And then I told you how I felt about Mickey James. Well, the couple times, like when Dad comes to town and he's trying to get my kids into wrestling, some of the boys, like depending on what ages they were at the time, they would get really into it. They liked a lot of the old campy stuff too. But the current stuff, everything, just from what I've seen, I'm like, okay, like it doesn't hit the same. Like I remember Dad taking me, like he took all of us kids to, I think it was a SmackDown or something. Dad, you probably fill in the blanks and help me remember this. But it was Vince McMahon's Spirit Squad versus DX.
It was Saturday Night Main Event. I sat on the front row and shit. Then I put the kids up and I put the kids up in the cheap seats.
But watching DX like scramble these stupid Spirit Squad over gimmicking male cheerleaders, and like they had to wrangle them all up and get them into cages.
Oh my!
And
God.
it was so camp, so incredible. That's the kind of shit like I enjoyed. So I've only seen a couple things, like when Dad comes to town, he's watching it, and it just doesn't hit the same. So like what you were just telling me about his psychological gimmick, I'm like, all right, no, that's
David and Jackson both. David and Jackson both got into it when Logan Paul was on.
Okay, but
but Jackson was like, hey, that's Logan Paul, and it's the Prime Energy drink, and Jackson watched it, and David just happened, and David, bless his heart, he was pacing behind me because like where the couch is, you can walk behind the couch to go to the back door. He was pacing and watching because David is such a sweet child that he does not want to see anybody get hurt.
Oh,
so it was a little tense for him.
David's on the spectrum, and he does have like some anxiety triggers. And one of those is like he has a really hard time watching movies because he doesn't like when we get to the plot of a movie and the characters are facing any kind of like issues. He's very much like me, where he's overly empathetic. And so wrestling is just physically hard for him to watch because he like emphatically feels for like the pain that he's watching on the screen. So,
but Logan Paul does all that high flying stuff and the risks taking, and
bless his heart. That's so sweet.
But I mean, that's what I mean. How I've always said Logan Paul was definitely worth being there because he brings in fans that would not normally watch it.
Oh well, yeah, or even know what it was. I mean, again, like you said,
my grandsons had no interest in professional wrestling,
right? And just the fact that he was on at WWE and going live on Instagram during his match or whatever he was doing, coming down the ring. I mean, that I can only imagine.
And that
would have been like.
And that show that I took my kids to, that was Saturday night's Main Event. And if you'd like, you can watch that over at the Ram Network with myself and Terry Weaver.
I want to go back and watch that again.
I was there. We covered that.
Yeah,
because I was on the front row, and that
you'll need to help me.
I'd honestly forgot the kids.
I would love to go back and watch it.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Is that the one where you caught Shawn Michaels' shirt? Is that the show? Okay, I was going to say. I remember.
But you noticed that she talked about DX and the Spirit Squad, and she didn't mention Hulk and Brooke. So that's what her memory she took away from it was that main event, the DX and the Spirit Squad, which was a great match. A lot of fun.
It was absurd. It was absolutely absurd and stupid, but in the best way.
Right. That whole, I mean, Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, who came from the
he was in
Squad,
that.
He's still wrestling. He's the TNA champion, right?
TNA champion.
So one of them got out something good from the Spirit Squad. You just never know what you start off with, what you'll end up with.
Come a long way.
That's right. Do you want to do my trivia?
I am. I don't know if Sarah's going to know any of them.
I will be interesting to know if you know any of them.
It's very rare that I do.
I give it's multiple choice, so I think it'd be fun. I think you're gonna like it when I tell you what it's about.
Let's play trivia.
It's time for Amy's trivia. Think you have the facts. Let's play and see.
All right, so keeping with our reality show themes, we are doing trivia on the WWE reality show Tough Enough. Okay.
How'd you like that production value, Sarah?
That was so cute. As soon as it popped up, I was like, oh, so cute. I love it. You know what? I did watch one. I watched the women's wrestling reality show a couple seasons with the Bella Twins. Yes.
Yeah.
So whenever I got a hunch that you were going to do a reality theme, but I was really hoping it was that one. I did not watch Tough Enough.
Well, you know what's really funny? I didn't watch Tough Enough and I did not watch Divas. So it's okay. It's okay. So Tough Enough was taped for how many seasons? You got 5, 6, 7, or 8. So how many seasons of Tough Enough were there?
Hang on just a second. Tim asked a question. Dave, did y'all cover the Rhea injury? No, sir, we did not. And I only know about it because I saw a clip on Twitter today.
The one where they beat her up with a baseball bat or something different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know the answer to this, but whenever I had a uniform, my sports number was 6. So I'm going to go with 6.
Sarah, what you thinking?
My gut, that was the first thing that stuck out to me was 6, but I'll pick 7 just to be different.
It was 6. There are 6 seasons, 68 episodes, 6 seasons of Tough Enough. Next question. What year did the first Tough Enough episode air? Was it 1999, 2000, 2001, or 2002?
2001.
My gut says 2002 because I think they started looking for something after WCW was gone.
Possibly, but it was in 2001. That was the first year.
Look at you go, kid. Me and Terry,
me
and T, we've got it wrong.
That's okay.
I'm answering with just my gut.
Hey, sometimes that's what you have to do. This is a show. Trivia usually is a show of learning. Like Dave says I picked the hardest questions. I do not.
She would literally say, the Von Erich's father's name was Fritz. Fritz did this and that and the other thing. And when Fritz, what year? And then, and this is where, and what year? No, and this year he made his debut. What brand of briefs did Fritz wear?
Now,
I mean, that's what she'll do to you.
You know what? If you ask me those kinds of questions about The Office, or Friends, I would nail them.
See, and that's the reason why I asked those type of questions to Dave about the Von Erichs, because I can't just go say, who's the oldest Von Erich, because it's, I have to get more.
You got to challenge him.
You do.
In the middle.
He thinks he's.
You got to keep his brain young and spry.
That's right. That's my job. What year was the last season of Tough Enough?
Oh, apparently they didn't do them consecutively.
No, they did not. Was it 2014, 15, 16, or 17?
2015.
Dave, you got to answer. Yeah. What was the last season of Tough Enough?
I'm going to go 2014.
Sarah's gut is on point. It was 2015 was the last season of Tough Enough.
Yay.
Yeah.
Look at you being the smart one.
I know. It's awesome.
It only took 30-something years.
What season was hosted by Stone Cold Steve Austin?
The only season I watched.
Which was it season 3, season 4, season 5, or season 6?
4.
3.
Anybody in the chat? I know we have some people answering. Hey, Ben, we say hey to Ben because Ben is from Australia. So we always want to make sure we give him a good shout out because he's starting his day with us.
Yeah, we're
Good
worldwide.
morning, Ben.
He's got two twin. Well, you can't have two twin boys. He has twin boys. It's very redundant, and they're super cute.
Thanks to Ben, we chart. Thanks to Ben, we chart our podcast charts in Australia.
Very much, very much.
Love it.
It was actually season 5.
Oh, okay.
That was hosted by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I love me some Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. What season coming up would be 2 female winners? Are we looking at season 1, season 2, season 3, or season 4?
Well, if I know anything about any reality television, it would not be season 1. Maybe season 3.
I'm gonna go season 4 because I think I know who won.
Who do you think won?
The Bella twins.
That's who I was just thinking because I was thinking it must be a duo.
The Bella twins were never on Tough Enough.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I'll tell Dave.
I was not aware.
You thought they were on Tough Enough? They did the Diva search, and they actually were not picked. Can you believe that? The season that we would see 2 female winners is, season 2.
Oh,
It was season 2.
what is Tough Enough? Like, what was the concept?
The concept was kind of similar, I guess, to what a reality show where you have different challenges. So actually, Tough Enough has had, even though it was 6 seasons, it's had some iterations almost every time, like the way they did it. They had judges or they had trainers. So you had people come on who wanted to be wrestlers.
Okay,
And-
so it's like an audition competition.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then they had trainers and you do different, as you said, competitions as the weeks go on. People get eliminated. At one time, I don't know if the group voted them out or if the judges or the trainers voted. Like I said, they tweaked it every time. I
Sure.
feel like that it was on. And so at the end, you got a prize, you got a contract, there were different things.
Well, yeah, then that wouldn't make sense for the Bella twins to be on, especially in the early 2000s.
Well, that's why I thought it was season 4 because.
Hmm.
But what did I know? I mean, I didn't watch it. Those type of competitions.
Glee had one.
It was the kayfabe. It was the pulling back the curtain that I didn't care for.
You are
And
old school in that way.
Yeah, it was a production of with WWE and MTV these first couple seasons. So,
Yeah.
like I said, it was kind of during that height. They were still trying to tweak it and figure out how to make
Was
it
the Miz-
work the
The
best.
Miz on Tough Enough?
He was.
Yeah, okay.
He was. Next question. What season was John Hennigan, aka John Morrison, one of the winners? Was it 3?
John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Johnny.
Yeah, TNA or
Wrestling,
Impact, Johnny Impact. Is he
He-
Johnny Wrestling? I thought that was what's
He's
his
been
name?
some of everything. He's Johnny wherever he works.
That's true. But when he won Tough Enough, was it season 3, 4, 5, or 6?
I'm gonna go. T-Weave said 3, but he hadn't been hitting that great tonight. So it had to be early because he's been around forever. I'm gonna say season 4.
I'll say season 3.
You should have gone with
like this guy.
T-Weave. You should
You'd
have
like
gone
this
with
guy. I think
T-Weave.
he's a legit 8-pack.
Oh yeah, he's a nice one to look at too. It was season 3 where he was a co-winner. You should have gone with T-Weave. Blind
You
Squirrel's got to get a
you
nut.
probably
once,
remember
right?
him. He was in a tag team called M&M, Sarah, and Melina was their manager, and she's the one that would throw her leg up on the ring apron and then throw her other leg up on the ring apron and do the splits and go up underneath the
Yep.
bottom rope.
Yep.
He was one of the guys that wore the fur coat with the abs.
Yep.
That's who he was.
And does he still wrestle? He does,
Yes.
doesn't he? He's out there. So he's definitely one that's been with WWE and he's gone to Impact. I mean, he's definitely
He's been in AEW. I think he's currently. Oh no, he's married to Ty Valkyrie.
Does AJ Styles still wrestle?
Yes.
Yes.
He was my biggest crush. Like biggest crush.
He's definitely still. Yeah.
Yeah, he just came back. He just came back and he got hurt his first night back.
Oh no.
But yeah, he's a hot
I
one
had the
too.
biggest crush on him.
What season would we see competitors Mike Mizanin, who is the Miz, and Ryan Reeves, who ended up being Ryback? He was also on Tough Enough. Was it season 3, 4, 5, or 6?
4 is calling out to me.
Yeah.
That's because it is the answer. It was season 4.
I didn't know that Ryback. I didn't know Ryback was on Tough Enough.
Yep, he sure was. You know what's really interesting, and I don't know, Sarah, if you see this a lot with your reality shows, it's not so much the winner, it's other people that were on the show that end up being successful and
I don't know if
contracts or whatever. Neither
I don't know if these two guys how they did on them, but
they did not win. I mean, it wasn't they were
and
not.
Ryback was probably. I mean, he was on top of the world for a while there, and the Miz is still going.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Dad, okay, you just watched the finale of Big Brother and your immediate gut reactions about Angela. She was the one, the older blonde woman who they did the whole segment about her charcuterie being stolen.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. She is a hit. She is her star has exploded.
And you speak of Melina. Melina was a competitor on Tough Enough.
I didn't know that either.
So one of the earlier, I don't know. She didn't win. Again, not winning sometimes. I don't know why. It just seems so weird that the winners who do the competitions and things that the trainers and the judges are looking for this one anyway, they're not as successful. It's the people
I know
that,
why.
Why?
I know the answer to this.
Oh, good.
So this is very common across multiple reality shows, but when you have a reality competition show, typically the winner, like let's look at American Idol, for example. American Idol, when you win, you are limited in your contract. You have to tour under the American Idol winner title. You have to do these certain songs, and everything not only has to go through the record company you signed with, but also through like Fox or whoever is, I know it's now like ABC, right? So typically there's winner contracts, and it's so airtight because these shows have to be classified in certain ways. They're either classified as a reality show or a game show. And if they're classified as a game show, contracts post game show are very, very tricky and have to be very specific. So a lot of times the winners will have to sign these contracts, and they're very limited in what they can do. Whereas the non-winners have more free range. They have more connections. They're able to go to more parties. They're able to make more connections. They're able to do more things on social media. So a lot of times they end up coming out as bigger stars until, and then by the time that contract is over, the winner is only known as the winner. And it's kind of like they're irrelevant because we're already on a new season.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. So do you think strategically, do you want to be the winner or do you want to be a well-liked competitor?
No, I want to be the winner, but I want to be very careful on what the hell I sign because I want that money. And I want to make sure that the verbiage of whatever I sign gives me at least some wiggle room into allowing me to run my own businesses, even if that own business is my TikTok account.
Sure. And that makes perfect sense because Kelly Clarkson, they had to do her and the guy who was runner
Justin Guarini, they actually did a movie.
Exactly.
I mean, she's doing okay now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, she is.
but a lot of
other
the winners, definitely. But there have been more successful. Jennifer Hudson, Fantasia. Like there's been definitely other people that have
Dory.
What's
Daughtry?
Daughtry, yes, Chris Daughtry. I was going to say, what's that guy's name?
Daughtry. Yeah, I saw him in the open for Bon Jovi one year when I went and saw Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So fill in the blank. So there have been 10 Tough Enough winners. Can you name the seasons that only had one winner versus 2? So typically, there's only 6 seasons, so you got to think about that.
Well, you said season 2 already.
So season 1 had one winner.
um, how many
So season
seasons? Yes, seasons 2 had 2 winners.
Mhm.
I'll just go ahead and say there were 2 seasons where there was only 1 winner for
Season
whatever
Oh,
reason.
one,
okay.
season 1 is season 6.
No. I'll tell you, you're incorrect, Dave.
Season 1 and season 5.
No, it's not season 1.
Really?
There was a man and a woman winner. But again, I mean, like I said, you don't know who they are.
T
I mean,
Weave says 1 and 3.
it is
I'm gonna
not
say
1. I'll
Oh,
go
that's
ahead and
right.
tell you, it's not 1.
I would say 4 and 6.
It was 4 and 5
Oh,
for whatever reason.
Look at you go, Sarah.
4 and 5
I just
had.
closing my eyes, go in my gut.
That's how Amy's trivia is. So we're throwing shit at the wall to see if it'll stick.
That's right. Well, I think though, yes. I try not to go with the obvious stuff because our audience is very sophisticated wrestling fans. And so I can't say, who main evented WrestleMania 3 because they'd get pissed because that's that's not a good question. But talking about again people that were on the show that did not end up, the winners for whatever reason, like, and again, that makes perfect sense. They're so locked in. We talked about The Miz being on the show and Ryback, but Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were also competitors on the show. And I was going to say, who was the other person? Velveteen Dream was there. Chelsea Green also had a spot on it. So I think it's interesting. There are definitely people that got looks, kind of like the Diva Search. Like I said, the Bella Twins were part of the Diva Search, and they were not the winners, but they still got contracts. So again, it's just a way to be able to get a good look at people and see. But I don't really know if people, and then they end up getting the NXT developmental system, but I don't think people want their wrestlers to come from a game like a Survivor Series type show,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's why it wasn't popular or what, but like I said, the first season was 2001. They went a couple years. They had a hiatus. They rebooted it, had another hiatus, got Stone Cold involved in it. That was the only episode or only one he did. And then, like I said, 2015 was the last. And then, unfortunately, one of the winners there passed away, Sarah Lee. She was married to Wesley Blake. Was he on that show? I don't remember if he was on that show or not, but she passed away. But there have been some really interesting stories that have come out of Tough Enough. That was the whole Pruder versus Kurt Angle. That was like a shoot, Kurt Angle was a very famous professional wrestler and an Olympic champion. You might have remembered him. He was kind of during that time of the Undertaker and stuff. And
he won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
They actually had a shoot wrestling match.
Daniel Pruder tried to shoot on him.
And so that kind of got, a little crazy. One of the other wrestlers, Matt Capitelli, he ended up passing away from brain cancer, but there was an incident with Hardcore Holly that maybe he roughed him up a little, or Hardcore Holly maybe was a little rough with them being a brand new, in the ring. So it's interesting just to see all of that. But yes, so check it out. It's only 6
Very
seasons,
cool.
68 episodes, so it's an easy watch.
Okay.
But yeah, so there
while
we go.
you're checking out stuff, go over to patreon.com/Ram Network for $5 a month, where we're over at the Ram Network giving you lots of bonus content. We already mentioned I was there.
Mhm.
We got Eras.
I like that show, Eras, when you all are talking, because I'm an 80s girl. And as Sarah was talking about, her fandom was, maybe more the Attitude type era. That's what they're doing on the show, is they're going through these different eras that the wrestling promotions had, and they're talking about what was going on and maybe why, the gimmicks and, what is that Attitude era? Is that the gimmick era? Like when everybody had a job, the barber,
occupational era.
occupational era. So it kind of goes through that, which I think is pretty cool because
That's
sometimes,
cool.
yeah, you don't think about it necessarily when you're watching it as a kid that this is the 80s era or this is the occupational era, but they do. It's seasons. I mean, like I said, things get tweaked and you kind of roll into another era. So I think that show's really cool. Y'all do a good job.
We got Ringside Replay. Dollar Dave and myself are watching 1988 CWA, the Continental Wrestling Federation. Timmy C and I do World Class Flashback. We're having a great time watching 1983, which was my favorite year of wrestling. We're going week by week for World Class Championship Wrestling. We're coming up on International Star Wars from Reunion Arena, and we are going to Zoom and do a watch along with all the members. And we're going to watch that. We're going to watch that card together. World title match. We have Giant Baba. We have Tenru. We have Jumbo Sharuda. Lots of international flavor on that show. Then we will, of course, get the hair match between Buddy Roberts and Iceman King Parsons. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. I'm working on that.
I told you that, and you didn't tell me thank you.
Thank you,
last
Amy.
week.
And we're getting the hair match between Buddy Roberts and the Iceman. We've got the held up Texas title between David Von Erich and Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. And we just found out that Kerry Von Erich has brought in Bruiser Brody to tag team with him to challenge the Freebirds for the American Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. And the Freebirds are freaking out that they've got to face Bruiser Brody. This will be my first time this card was the first time that I ever saw Bruiser Brody in person. Every time I saw Bruiser Brody in person, it was an extremely big deal. I remember each and every time I got to see him in person. And I'm looking forward to watching it with all of the members over at the Ram Network. Ram Network is at patreon.com/Ram Network, $5 for lots and lots of bonus content. We're doing our thing over there, and we hope you will join us over at the Ram Network. Sarah, tell everybody where they can find the Secret Society of Superfans.
Yeah, you can find us all on TikTok. I'm Sarah Talks Reality. And then our Ghostbuster Sammy, we have Reality Alley and Abigail. You can go to any of my videos and they're tagged in a ton of them. Or you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Secret Society of Superfans. But yeah, we are getting back up. There's a couple videos up there right now. Just remember, we are rebranding. So we have new content coming out, and we are currently covering Survivor. And then prepping to cover Traders for January.
Cool.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing some stuff with them because I'm in on Big Brother.
Everyone's very excited to have Pondwater Dave.
And
I bet.
And kind of like
Did he tell you about the cake?
No.
We could talk. I know that it's running late, but
no.
just ask Dad about
I know
the
guy
cake.
that runs the place.
What?
Oh, the cake. That's the
Hear me out
cake. The Hear Me Out cake.
Did you
So
tell me?
I don't know if you've seen this trend, but there's a trend called a Hear Me Out cake, and you make a cake, and a Hear Me Out is like someone, a character, a cartoon character, a character from your past or a TV show or movie or something that isn't obviously attractive, but you have a weird attraction to them, and it's kind of one of those okay, hear me out moments.
Okay.
And Dad cried. I was telling Dad, I was like, it can't be Jessica Rabbit. It can't be like those are not hear me out. Everyone's attracted to Jessica Rabbit. This has to be like a hear me out. And Dad just kind of blew it out of the water and was a huge hit in the comments on my video because they're like, I'm sorry, this is your dad. He's fucking hilarious. And
I did Penelope, I did Polly Purebred from Underdog. I did
You
Berta.
start off with Polly Purebred. I start off with Ghostface.
Then I did Berta from 2.5 Men.
Yeah, that was a big
really
one.
And then I did
the I Dream of Jeannie bottle.
Yeah, that was my final one. The bottle from I Dream of Jeannie.
The bottle.
Because the opening is just the right size, he said.
And Jeannie's down in the bottle for and then I did the green chick from Star Trek, the original series.
The green
Yvonne
chick.
Craig, who played Batgirl, played played the green chick on there that and Kirk and of course Captain Kirk made out with her because
Yes. I
Mine
love
was-
how I bet Sarah's followers, they had to Google half of who you put on there. They had no idea who Underdog, the green chick from the original, not Chris Pine's Star Trek. Like there's something
Yeah.
else before that.
But I mean,
That's
but I
hilarious.
tried to go obscure.
No, I
Yeah.
know. I just think that's funny.
And Polly Purebred was a reporter, and I always wanted to date a reporter so I could hear her say, "This just in."
Mine, I had my obscure one was Thrax from Osmosis Jones, which is such a niche, like little off the wall movie. Ghostface from Scream, which I didn't realize until my video what how many women feel the same way about Ghostface. And then and then Miss Minutes from Loki was
T-Weave gets it.
everyone for-
T-Weave gets it.
TV was also in his.
It's
40s.
Antonio Santos just did that, and he agreed with everyone that I picked.
I know.
Mhm.
I didn't say they not agreed. I just thought that was funny that you picked the first Underdog. I'm sure her guests were like, "Who is this?"
I will see you in
went over,
Brookhaven.
but they love him. So
Oh, of course. How could you not love Pondwater?
you can't. I mean,
seriously. What's
I
not
told
to
I was like,
love?
he's
And
me.
if you're
I mean,
here
I'm-
just for Sarah, if you're watching our show just for Sarah, do me a solid and hit the subscribe button on that YouTube channel. pwdpod.com will take you to our YouTube channel. Need all the help
Definitely.
I can get. And if you're looking for another podcast that has a little bit of wrestling in it, the TNA Top 10, T-Weave, Allison and Andrew do that. They do they'll do top 10 lists, and they also talk college football. This week's top 10 list was top 10 Halloween candies.
Yes.
Top 10 Halloween
Ooh,
candies.
that sounds like a fun show.
It is.
They did
They've
top.
done
Oh, we did movie
costumes.
franchises.
costumes,
Yeah.
ice cream, a lot of food related things.
Love it.
Yes, it's really fun. They put them out. I mean, anybody can take the survey. So I mean, they put the survey out every week, and so anybody can vote on it.
Yeah, I
So
always
definitely
retweet
get
it.
in there.
It's the more voters, the better.
Heck yeah. And it's really fun because then you could, I mean, people have really, like, some people have chosen that's the hill they want to die on, that Kit Kats are better than whatever, it's kind of fun to see that interaction between people.
That it is a common game when we have fire pit night with our friends. We do something called draft, and it'll be like fast food, and you pick your favorite fast food item, but nobody else can pick that. And you go, it's kind of like drafting fast food items, and we will get into fights over preferred Pop-Tart flavors or who has the
Hamburgers?
better chicken sandwich.
Yes, I was going to say they've done hamburgers before. And again, that's one of those things that's like, you've never had a XYZ burger.
Yeah.
I'm in Kentucky. Obviously, you're in Texas and, Mississippi. They start talking about stuff that's up north or, in and out. I've never been to a Jack in the Box. I mean, we just don't have those here. So, it kind of gives you an idea. Some people have never eaten at a Waffle House. Can you believe they never even heard of Waffle House? I didn't even know that was a thing. So
wait, I'm sorry. You have Jack in the Box in Kentucky?
No, we don't. I'm saying
we don't have Jack in the Box in Mississippi.
I've never had it. Not even in the big cities of Lexington and Louisville. I don't think I've ever seen them there.
Wow, that's the best drunk food.
I know.
Me and Sarah
stopped. Can't talk about.
Me and Sarah stopped. We got tacos. We got
egg rolls.
We got tacos and egg rolls, and you get 3 of them cheaper than you can buy 2. So I bought the 3-pack, and she ate both of them. I got 1 egg roll. I mean, she didn't eat half of it. There wasn't no splitting on one of them. She wolfed down 2 of those egg rolls on me, but that's fine.
You were sending pictures of all your food options.
I didn't send the tacos from Jack in the Box, but I had them.
But you told us that.
I was there from Saturday. I was there from Saturday.
Oh, a week. It's about a week.
Yeah, I was there. I was almost there for a week, and I ate at Jack in the Box 4 times.
I feel like they were ragging you because they were like, tacos from a Jack in the Box. Like, that's not something that
you can't knock it.
I don't even know what kind of meat is in the taco, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The best things that are like that is
quiet. It just is what it is.
Yeah, the best, the hole in the
when I got down at the Stars
places?
game, I went to a Dallas Stars game with my friend Wayne when we were there, and after I dropped him off, the town that he lives in, Jack in the Box, closed at 11, and it was like 10:58. So I went the long way home so I could get back on the highway and go to Royce City because I knew that was a 24-hour Jack in the Box. And I didn't have nowhere else to be. Yeah.
I get to come to Dallas in April, and hopefully I will get to try something.
Yeah, the Burger King tried tacos, and they were horrible.
You definitely need to try Jack in the Box. Yes. Don't waste your time with In-N-Out. No. Just no. But you need Whataburger.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we have that here either.
You can't. No, you don't.
We have it here. In fact, I've had Whataburger. I've had Whataburger twice this week. But I had it today. But Whataburger in Texas hits different. That's where they're originally from.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When Abigail came here from Boston, it was her first time in Texas. Picked her up from the airport, and we went straight to Whataburger. Because I'm like, you got to be indoctrinated into Texas. So when you come into Texas, you got to get you a Whataburger.
I bet is it at the airport? Maybe that'd be good.
It's like they have.
When I came
as soon as I get off the airport.
Well, the thing is that you don't see a whole lot of them because, I mean, it costs $2 million to get a franchise.
Does it?
Yeah, I checked. But let me tell you, when I moved to Mississippi in 2010, when I came across the Mississippi River Bridge, there was a billboard that said there was Whataburger at exit 3. And so I had a Whataburger, and I knew I was going to be okay. And then the little grocery store beside the apartments that I moved into had Bluebell ice cream, so I knew that I was going to be okay when I got here.
Going to be okay.
Yep.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We've had fun.
Yes,
we got to do this again, especially when Big Brother starts, because I'm going to be in on Big Brother.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you for
everybody go listen to Sarah over at the Secret Society of Superfans. Catch her on TikTok. She's on there all the time. She gives updates and she'll tell you if there's going to be spoilers, so nothing's spoiled. And support what she does. She does a really good job. She's really entertaining. I know I'm biased, but I love you.
Hey, you know what? I look and sound like mom, but let's face it, I'm you. So if I do entertaining, it's where I get it from. So
see, and I would have normally took a shot at your mom, and I'm not going to do it. We could do a reality show about her mom still, after all these years, her mom and her husband come to Christmas. In fact, she spends more Christmases with my sister than I do.
What was it? Secret Society of what?
Superfans.
The Secret Society of Superfans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm subscribing now, but I wanted to make sure I said it right. Yay!
If you're anywhere near Brookhaven, Mississippi, Saturday night, Brookhaven, 7:00, BIW, we're going to have Steve Anthony versus Alex Arsenal.
Ooh. Yes, Josh was telling us all about that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a stacked card top to bottom. Alex Kane is coming in to challenge Bam Bam Malone for the BIW championship. We got Barrett Brown on the card against Christian Blake. It's going to be a banger.
Who won? Okay. Who won between the Southern Royalty, or who's going to be in the tournament? Was that this week?
That wasn't in. That wasn't last week.
It's this coming up?
No, it's coming up November 16th in Spring Hill.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
But
I jumped the gun.
But Alex Arsenal put up had a really good showing against Bam Bam Malone. 2 out of 3 falls. It was a great match.
I bet it was. Yeah, I've never been disappointed.
It was a good show the other night, and it's going to be an incredible show this Saturday night, and I'm excited to be part of it. And hope to see y'all there if you're anywhere near Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Definitely.
Until next week, I want to thank everybody that joined us in the chat tonight. Thank you for coming a day late. During basketball season, we may be moving the schedule around a little bit because my granddaughter's playing basketball, and she got fouled last night. She took a hard foul.
Ooh.
And she got the kid back. She fouled the kid. I mean, the kid got her.
Mm-hmm.
Kid checked her pretty hard, and didn't get a foul called, which was BS. But Maddie got fouled when she got her back, and I would have really liked to seen her pop her back a little bit harder than that. But still, I was real proud of her for doing it. So we're going to be jumping the schedule around a little bit, and we appreciate y'all for bearing with us on that. But for the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club, for my beautiful daughter, Sarah, I love you. Kiss my grandbabies for me. I'm Pondwater Dave, and we'll see you next week.